Blessings, welcome in. I hope everyone's doing well. I am Mel. I just wanted to share a little bit. I was been reflecting on the reading yesterday, and I've been catching a lot of conceptual links and threading them together. And their spirit was bringing me back to some things that I had documented. I don't know, probably 2017, 2018. And is asking me to bring them forward just as resources and reference points. How that applies to each individual, I'm not sure, but, you know, hey, I follow whatever spirit guides me to do. So I noticed in the reading yesterday that the numbers 711 came up. And again, that's a very prominent number for me. Most of my awakening, my house number was 711. And I spent day and night, just seeking, searching, learning, philosophizing, reading various theologies, mysteries, occult, esoteric knowledge, and I was just gathering, which was helping awaken my memory. So 711 or 117, depending, because it is a mirrored number, holds deeper signatures of energy when you look beyond the surface of when reading numerology, when reading number sequences, okay? There are deeper anchor points within them, okay? So I wanted to read something I had written about the 711. And for me, this was a personal reflection. 711 or 117 is about seeking knowledge and wisdom, digging deep in search of knowing, but not based off belief, doctrine, or what society suggests. It's an individualized philosophy which encompasses many, not just one approach, because the universe is all. Through an individualized perspective, one is not inclined to sway to just one side of the spectrum or the other. The seeker knows that all perspectives are relevant, yet choose what works and what doesn't, based off of their individualized knowing, which is to say what resonates and works for them. You hear that all the time. They do not allow external forces to dictate their own philosophy of understanding, for your perspective is very much different from my own. So how can one judge, dictate, or choose what another perceives? The journey of the soul is an individualized path to greater understanding of the self in relation to all. By definition, self is a person's essential being that distinguishes them from others, especially considered as the object of introspection or of reflexive action. The evaluation of oneself, of one's worth as an individual, in distinction from one's interpersonal or social roles. We spoke a lot about that, about the social norm of going into your knowing, trusting your source, what you know to be true. One must seek to understand itself before it will understand how it can relate to the all. This needs to be done on the inner level without the influence of external points of views. Now, I'm not saying deny the external or not to consider other perspectives, for they are resources available if one chooses to integrate them. What I'm saying is take what resonates and leave the rest. Don't accept what others deem to be true if your deep knowing tells you otherwise. Do not accept the status quo or the doctrine, the social beliefs that have been constructed, constrained, and disempowers individuals of their sovereign right of free will to choose what they want to believe or what they know to be true. And then, of course, my poet had to step in. The sheep have been corralled and follow each other blindly to the slaughters. Based on these programmed beliefs, they never notice that the gate which leads to lush fields of infinite possibilities, infinite wisdom and knowledge, where the harvest is ripe and abundant, for individuals to choose what they seek. To dabble in many philosophies, theories, sciences in effort to encompass a universal system at the macro and micro level, which is infinite, vast in its potential, which creates, destroys, recreates itself, forever changing, weaving, threading, growing, cycling, a system that is boundless, I believe is the true essence of self-actualization. There is no beginning nor end, no start or finish. It is a continuous flow of a circuit which binds all that is, all that was, and all that is still yet to become. The more one learns, the more one should question. The more one questions leads to further understanding and also changes the perspective, which then creates thirst for greater knowing, driving the individual to seek more of itself, which in essence they are seeking their way back to the Creator. That is the key factor in actualizing fulfillment, to return to source, whatever that source is. It'll be different for everyone. Seeking is the way back home, the return to self through self. Through this process, understanding it reveals how the individualized integrates into the actualized oneness of the whole, the bigger picture which encompasses the all. All beings, all concepts relate. So again, that frequency came in, that 711 came in. There it holds a deeper embeddedment of energy that we have access to tap into, to really, really expand our minds, to really see the universe in all its glory, to see us in all our glory and what we're fully capable of in order to understand our relationship to everything. So I thought that was fascinating, that Spirit brought me back to this. To catch that thread and realize that those energies were coming through. And at the time, I wasn't recognizing them. And this is what happens when I channel, or if I do readings, or I'm just on the whim, just allowing Spirit to speak. What I do afterward is I always go back and I reflect. And then I'm shown more. And then I'm able to make more links, more conceptual links, which it's like, and I've told this to a dear brother of mine. It's like working with a large switchboard, you know, like way back in the day before like phones were, you know, rotary dial and all that. There were women that sat at these switchboards, and they would plug you in here, and they would unhook you here and then plug you here to direct your call to somewhere else. So the way that I'm shown as how these, slow down though, slow down, these systems work, how these grid structures work, it's like that. The synapses of the brain, our biology, our nervous system, the elements within the universe all connect this way. And you can plug in and you can tap that thread, you can tap that feed, pull that knowledge, that information, download it, you can tap in somewhere else, and then you upload it to the grid. And it's just constantly these working, moving parts that are in conjunction with each other. And it's fascinating. It's glorious. And I get excited. I get passionate about it. Like, that's what my soul loves. Loves weaving. It loves threading. It loves going beyond and seeing the universe and its working mechanisms. Well, oh, okay, I get it now. I see this. I was shown this like 6 years ago. And now it makes sense. And I was able to build another cohesive part of my energetic web, my grid system, if that makes sense. Okay, we're going to slow down. Yeah. Exploration, alignment, ground, yeah. So, what else did I want to tap into? Again, with the 7. So, yesterday, and then Later, I recognized that yesterday was 722. 722 is, again, another prominent number. This was something I was shown, again, years ago. So it's something that stays in my mind. And when I see the 722, I automatically know. It's actually, I flip it and it becomes a mirror number. And the mirror is the macro because I am within the micro. So it becomes a 22-7. Anyone that works with ciphers, cryptograms, again, this is deeper occult knowledge. And it has like this, it'll show you the energetic signature of the seasons and the cycles of the sun and its relation to the earth, okay? I'm not going to read all this, but the point was 22-7 is a pi start. It's a conceptual link. It's an anchor point. So when this came to my awareness, yesterday was an anchor point, a seasonal anchor point within the sun's rotation, okay, or the earth's rotation around the sun. And it's a key. Pi is a key. So 7, I skipped that part, excuse me. 22-7, if you divide 22 and 7, you get pi. You get 3.14. Okay? So pi is always an anchor point for me. And I know we spoke about the Fibonacci sequence yesterday. So for me, phi and pi work together. They're sisters in arms. They are part of manifestation and creation. Okay, so then that linked into time and space. So now we've had the 7, right? We have the 22-7, which can reduce to pi, and there again, there's a deeper meaning, and it's kind of irrelevant for most people. I'm just making links. Time and space are related in a ratio of 7-4. Okay, and you can look at 7 and 4 equals the 11, right? Everything material is expressed in space as fourfold, but it is manifested as sevenfold. So you can look at it as the 22. If we reduce the master number, that's a 4. And then we have the 7. So yesterday was a huge manifestation anchor point for all of us, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you came to that understanding. And I find that just fascinating how these things link up. And it's like, okay, well, we can look it back and say, okay, what did you just see at the new moon? Okay. And not just with the moon, and I can jump into the moon cycles now because that was another download this morning with the 13 moons, but we're not going to go there. I'm going to stick on the 7, the 22, and the 4. Time unfoldment is represented by the 7, but the actual events will take place in space are represented by a 4. So you see how these numbers are so much more deeper as far as their frequency, that when they hook into the grids and how we're manifesting these things, okay, we don't always understand nor know unless, you know, your higher self, your guides are showing you this knowledge, this information, this data. And again, it doesn't apply to everybody because it's not relevant for that person's path, so to speak. For me, it's like I live in the world of the occult. I live in esoteric knowledge. Like my universe is always showing me things, from genetics to physics to geometries to stellar. It gets so offhand that it's like because my human mind cannot fully comprehend, although it knows. And it goes back to that 7-Eleven. It's the knowing. It's the scholar. It's the reader. It's the gatherer of information, the seeker, the lifelong searcher of truth. And we can equate this to Sagittarian energy. Philosophy, theology, etc. There is a knowing that God exists. They have no interest in God based on belief, nor are they inclined to accept the concept of no God or not believing. It's a paradoxical energy. They want one thing, and that is to know. Pursuing knowing as opposed to believing, although with belief is to know. It will never accept any belief one way or other, yet it is far from agnostic. The 7 is convinced that God exists, and she can be known. That's the beauty of knowing. You just know it. There is no rational explanation in most times. And that's what, it's very hard for us to communicate these ideas, these abstract thought patterns, because sometimes there are just no words to describe. Or within our understanding and our communicative abilities, we don't have that technology, so to speak. Okay? But again, it comes back to knowing. And that's why I am a firm believer in promoting and empowering people. Trust your knowing. Trust your source. Trust your reality. Trust your universe. Trust your guides, whoever you pray to, whoever you work with, whatever deities, etc., etc. Trust that. Trust yourself first and foremost. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. I just wanted to share a little bit of that and delve into one of those threads. Share that with people. If it makes sense to you, that's friggin' magnificent. If it doesn't, it's okay. Again, when we share information, we share knowledge. Whether you fully comprehend it at a human level, your soul hears it. You get the fire letters. You get the keys. You get the codes. And you allow that energy to sit and generate within you. And it will bring things up. And it allows you to tap cellular memories. Or it gives, excuse me, it gives you another pathway to follow that is relevant to you. Okay? So I send you all much love and many blessings. Thanks for listening to my ramblings, my musings, and I appreciate you all. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Take care.